This is the Rebel Scum Podcast. Available in video on YouTube and audio wherever you listen to your podcasts. Every week, Brock and James talk the latest rumors, news, and theories from a galaxy far, far away. Support us on Patreon for exclusive offers and join the Star Wars discussion. Patreon.com/RebelScumPodcast. Here are your hosts, Brock and James.
You're always scum.
Rebel Scum.
Oh, Rebel Scum. Welcome to...
I muted my mic and your mic's not working. What a way to kick off the show. Hi, Mr. Rez. Hi, Heidi. Hi, Kicking Air. Hi, Stan Solo. Hi, Dale. Welcome to episode 242. Brock's mic is back. The intro blew your mic off. That was awesome.
I did nothing. I've been here the whole time.
I know your mic. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but your mic wasn't working. My sound was off. I muted my mic and then took myself off of it so that you would be alone. Brock, I don't know how to work things. Okay. You know that. Anyway, why don't you start the show the way it should be started, Brock? So you were always scum. Rebel Scum.
Here's a fun thing I learned this week. Now, I feel like I could be corrected pretty quickly, but I have started reading the final High Republic book that they're putting out, I believe, for this wave or whatever they're calling it. It's Midnight Horizon by Jose. Gosh, I forget his first name. Anyways, doesn't matter. Oh, it does. You should read that book. It's all right. But one of the characters, Ram, his name is Ram. He's one of the Jedis. He's really into machines. Apparently, he is the one that created the term wizard.
Oh, like so they've decided that okay, does it work or is it just like, oh, this is tacked on? Is that how
he says it's hard to critique it because it is one of the YA novels, so it's sort of like, well, like this one I might not really be should be reading, but
we actually should we should mention that tomorrow, I don't know if it's going to be live or not, but you, Andrew, and a special guest are going to be talking about the Star Wars novels, and I think the High Republic, especially because I believe Andrew Fantasia has not been too thrilled with the novels. I don't know. Look, Brock, between us, he just said I want to do a video with who is it with? Do you remember who it's with? Who are we with? Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his name. Ross from Fantha Tracks. Oh my god, I can't believe I forgot that. He wanted to do a video with you two and him. I can't be a part of this, Brock. I mean, maybe I will. I might just throw in there and be like, I haven't read it, but I haven't read these books, so I can't. I was like, I can't comment on anything that you guys are saying. But yeah. I did say that you are a big fan, and look, it's not just you. I've seen people, and look, Twitter is a cesspool of like negativity and hatred and bigotry and all that. But the one constant that I'm seeing there from what I do, because I've muted everybody, is people seem to love the High Republic. It's like unanimous across the board that the High Republic seems to be the Star Wars that everybody's getting behind. And then Fantasia, of all people, comes out of the woodworks like, we need to talk about this. This is a problem. Let's quickly just say hi to Disney Desi and Pauline, who joined us in the chat as well. We're just going to thank everybody joining us in the chat. All three of you. Hi, Mom.
Yeah, Bright Suns did Disney Disney.
Don't say
Disney
Bright Suns, Brock. She's rubbing it. She's rubbing it in her face that she gets to go to Disney. Don't say
Glorious Moons, Lucky Charms, and shout out to Dale Erdman, because yes, the writer is Daniel Jose Older, who is one of the main people behind the IDW Star Wars High Republic thing, where a lot of the characters in this book kind of exist. It's kind of neat. Like this book goes really, really well with the comics, and which I've read a little bit of. So I'm like, oh, this is really fun. So it's like though, and those comics are meant for younger readers as well. So it's like, yeah, like this makes sense. Rising Moons, thank you. But here here, I'll show the screen.
It's not gonna work.
Hold on. There it is.
There you go. Hey, look at that. You highlight.
So I highlighted it. That's the beauty of digital books. So it's a scene between, I believe, Ram, another character named Zine, who is force sensitive, and Ram's Jedi Master. Is it Kumpar? No. Anyways, sorry, I'm still getting used to the names. Anyways, what I've highlighted here, Ram had to laugh. No, sorry. He says he says wizard. A break would be absolutely wizard. And one of the Jedi Masters says, What wizard? That's something you kids are saying these days. And then Zine looks scandalized. Ram, I thought that was something people on Valo said. Ram said to laugh, no, I totally made that up. Isn't it wizard? All right, I'll just be going now. Master Kumpar said, may the force be with you both. Can't believe you made up a whole slang word and didn't tell us. Boom. So I don't know if this is canon, but I was like, that's hilarious. Why do I care? Why do I care? Because my friend James here loves Phantom Menace, and the first time we hear the term wizard is from Phantom Menace. So I'm like, yeah, James needs to hear that. Boom.
That's awesome. That's in a comic, you said? Or is that
that's a book. Yeah.
The young
Midnight
novel.
Horizons by Daniel Jose Older.
All right. Midnight Horizons. I'm going to write that down. I got a pen right here. See? I'm not actually writing a Midnight Horizon. Maybe I'll check that one out. Look, I've been saying for how long has it been? A year now? A year and a half, 2 years that I'm going to read the High. I wasn't planning on reading the High Republic because, and this maybe if I do join your chat tomorrow, this is stupid. Why would I say this? But my problem with the High Republic wasn't necessarily the High Republic. It was just keeping up with it. It's like, I love Star Wars, but am I going to invest into Star Wars in the novels right in this moment? Because I'm reading like the Witcher books right now, and I've got to read A Christmas Carol every Christmas. If I don't read that, bro, Christmas is probably not going to happen.
That's 12 months
also,
or
less like
11.
But also, you gave me Batman Noel. I'm a huge fan of it. No, but anyway, I'm just joking. But there are like other things that I wanted to read in time and things like that. So. But you keep pushing on this, like you got to read the High Republic, and you're a big proponent of it, and like I said, Twitter seems to be really behind this thing. So you might be selling me on it. So maybe Disney send him a check. Send Brock a check.
Yeah, it's is it going to change your life? I don't think so, but like if you were someone that was a fan of expanded universe books, this has that same vibe. And if you have the time to like get a taste of every like avenue they're going down, you're like, oh yeah, this is very cool.
This is the thing though, is I absolutely, and I know I don't even know anymore. We're going to talk about this in a little bit, but I love the Book of Boba Fett. Front to back, I loved the whole ride. Okay, if we're going to be stupid and nitpick, I always think it's dumb though when you watch it. I remember when Scooby-Doo came out, Brock, the movie Scooby-Doo, written by James Gunn, who now has like the #1 show on television. He wrote Scooby-Doo, but I remember when Scooby-Doo came out, I was in college. I had a Scooby-Doo poster on my house I had made, and we've talked about this for a million times. But I was excited. I'm like, I gotta see Scooby-Doo, and I talked to my roommate. It was summertime, so it wasn't my roommate then, but he was my roommate, whatever. And I said, what'd you think of Scooby-Doo? And he goes, it was a good movie that's flawed. And I was like, what the hell does that mean? Like, why do we have, like, and I've noticed this, especially with Star Wars fans, we can't just say, oh, I like it. It has to be like, I like it, but I recognize the weaknesses in it. And it's like, who cares? Let's just like, why do we have to always justify why we like Star Wars? Guess what? I like Boba Fett front to back. That's it. I'm not gonna say, oh, there was something. I was like, that's dumb, but I'm not gonna talk about that because I like the front. I like Peacemaker. There are things in Peacemaker that I don't like. It's not like I go on Twitter like I didn't like this. Like that's not what happens. So why are we doing this? I don't know.
It's like we're afraid to be like, I didn't like that. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. Like, if you genuinely don't like it, that's also fine. But if you like it, like anyway, so My point with liking Boba Fett is I like Boba Fett, but it was very much an EU story. It was an expanded universe story. It's a side story. And so that kind of gets me a little more interested in the High Republic, because not that not you would compare them really necessarily, but the idea that they're both kind of side stories to the main story.
Yeah, exactly.
It kind of and if it's good, why not embrace it?
Yeah, like it's sort of like, hey, maybe you like the Lord of the Rings, maybe like the Hobbit. It's like, well, maybe I'll read the Silmarillion, but it's just like at some point it gets harsh. It's too long, it's too much. It's like
I bought that book.
Oh yeah, and did you read it all?
Ago. It took me a long. I did read it all, but not continuously. Andrew Fantasia read it twice, by the way. He's read it twice.
It's a slog.
Yeah.
Like
it's something.
But like Pauline's like, I have never read the expanded universe material. Totally fine. It's
absolutely.
Like, I would say, especially Star Wars expanded universe, like it's like fan fiction when you think about it. Like it's like internet fan fiction before there's an internet, right? So it's like, this is cool. But even though like we didn't think we'd get more Star Wars movies, we're like, well, this is where we live. And it's like, I don't know if that's gonna be like Han Solo and Princess Leia get married and have 3 kids and they're all Jedis. They were like, that's really cool, but I don't think that's true. You know? Like,
no, and the thing, and you know what really makes me laugh is when people are like, the EU was better than the sequel trilogy, which I'm gonna say, Brock, it's fair. If that's actually what you think, it's completely fair, because it's all subjective. So think what you want to think. I'm not gonna argue about that. But then when people start saying, well, just as George Lucas is canon, George Lucas always said, like I think George Lucas did things in the prequels to purposely contradict what happened in the Star Wars books that came out. Like he was like, no, this is how it is. And I think that's what happened. So no, don't. You're absolutely right. It's closer to fan fiction. You can argue that the sequels are fan fiction, that Boba Fett and Mandalorian are fan fiction. Like it's all the same thing now, because like I said, unless it comes from the head of George Lucas, it is in a way fan fiction, I suppose. But I think the biggest problem is the original trilogy happened, and then the prequel trilogy didn't come out for 16. I can't believe it was only like 16 years. Like it's been 20 something years since like there's been like time. I don't even understand time anymore, because like no time passed between the originals and the prequels now. But that time, in that time, something happened in Star Wars where Star Wars ceased to be Star Wars any longer and became something else. So like there's this fandom that like loves the originals, then a fandom who like embrace what happened in that weird time zone, and then there's the prequel fandom, and then there's the Clone Wars fandom, right? And then there's like the sequel fan. And this is the problem with Star Wars is no one's on the same page, because everybody got into it in this weird time frame. But the good thing with Disney now, though, Brock, is now it's just going to be one. So you can hate it all you want. That's fine. You're going to be dead by the time it matters, because Disney's going to keep it going, and the kids today are going to love it, and then their kids are going to love it. And it's just and the thing is, the kids today that are watching The Mandalorian and Boba Fett, I know it might not be the big thing, but eventually it's all going to be fluid. There's not going to be like, well, I preferred the books. I prefer like this. It's going to be one fluid canon that's going on. And I hate the word canon, but it's going to be one fluidity going on, and no one's going to be able to argue. And eventually, everyone's going to be on the same page, because I'll be dead. No offense, Brock, but you'll probably be gone. But eventually, in like 50 years, Chapek will be gone. All of them, Iger, everyone's going to be gone, and Star Wars is going to live on, and fans are going to be like, I like Star Wars, so do I. Oh my god. You know, and there's some episodes you're going to like, and some you're not going to like. Some movies you're going to like, some you're not going to like. But that's just going to be this thing. And hi. That's all, guys. That's the point, though, is like we all like it for different reasons. And that's why you can't always be satisfied.
I saw the perfect meme today, or not today, like this week, that would have been perfect for this, where I don't know if it's supposed to be King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table or Lord of the Rings, but like in the foreground of the picture is a table and like a king that's in the middle. He's holding his like sword onto the table. So that's why I think it might be Arthur. And then there's 2 knights beside him. And then there's like rows upon rows of people behind him. And on the table, you can see there's multiple swords. So it's like, I think it's Knights of the Round Table because they're all putting their swords on the table, right? And it's
and it's
right.
like
yeah, you've seen this. I think it's been used. This one was a Star Wars one where it's like OG fans, sequel fans, prequel fans, Rebels fans, Clone Wars fans, Expanded Universe fans, people that like Mandalorian. I think there's a whole bunch. Video game fans, comic book fans, SW comic book fans. And in the dead center where all the swords meet, because it's all above the people holding the swords, is people that think Darth Vader is badass. It's like it is true. It's like across the board, everyone's like, yeah, Darth Vader's pretty sweet. But it's just like it is crazy that our fandom has splintered that much. Where you're just like, yeah, there are people that are just like, I love Rebels, or like they're just super into it.
Okay, so Rebels, before we get into our topics today, Rebels sparked this whole thing on the Twitterverse as well.
Oh,
because Obi-Wan's coming out, and so fans who don't watch Rebels are saying, I want Darth Maul in Obi-Wan. And then what's happening is people are like, are you stupid? He died in Rebels. Watch, and everyone's like, watch Rebels. But here's my problem with that. First of all, don't be disrespectful. Secondly, we talk about Rebels. We both watched Rebels at Star Wars Celebration. You saw the season premiere with Filoni at Toronto Fan Expo. I love Rebels. I think it's phenomenal, but it's a cartoon. It's a cartoon. And when Rebels started, everyone hated it because it was too Disney. Everyone's too circular and round and blah blah blah. And I couldn't get Erin to watch Rebels. I can get her to watch Mandalorian, no problem. I couldn't get her to watch Rebels if my life depended on it. It's a cartoon. It's animated. That it doesn't make the storytelling lesser, but it makes your audience separate because there are people who will not watch that. And so, I don't think Darth Maul should show up in Obi-Wan, and I don't think he will show up in Obi-Wan because of what happened in Rebels. But that being said, there needs to, like, instead of just attacking people for not seeing Rebels or liking Rebels, understand Rebels was a big show, but it wasn't a massive show. You know, it was an animated Disney show in this weird time period where they got rid of the Clone Wars. They started that, and I don't know. Rebels it's an amazing show, but it's a weird era show where it was like before Force Awakens, after Force Awakens. Like, it's very weird, right? Where it's like when you think back, and I'm weird in the terms, Brock, where when you think back to it, it's like we didn't know what was happening in Star Wars when they kicked that one off.
Yeah. Shout out to Pauline. That's right. I forget that you're in Canada. She's
in Brampton.
I'm in Brampton, and I'm in Huttonville. That's awesome. I had no idea what I was walking into when I watched that
and that was a good
John Bassett Theater, North Building, Metro Toronto Convention Center. Boom.
That was like season 3 though, when Ezra like kills the ATS, like throws the ATST off the cliff.
Oh, that one. Yeah, there was the other one. It was only season 2 that I saw the first season and the third season. So
Right. So you're more of a fan than I am. I'm a fake fan.
I didn't see the premiere. I didn't see the premiere or the first episode of second season. All the other seasons we saw it in like a convention of some sort. I was like, yeah. What were we even talking about?
Do you remember when we watched the final season premiere at Celebration?
Yeah.
And when do you remember when we left? We're like, well, it's really Mandalore heavy. It's really Mandalore heavy. Now it's like Mandalore is Star Wars. Now Mandalore's not in Star Wars, everyone hates Star Wars. But it was funny because our reaction was like, man, it's really Mandalore heavy. I don't know if I'm into Mandalore that much. Now I'm like, give me all the Mandalore.
Yeah. This is crazy. They love it. Hated Empire because Yoda was weird. It was too dark. Didn't have a happy ending, and they thought Darth Vader was lying about being Luke's father. Yeah, it's true. I mean, people, I think, Heidi, I think, said earlier that OG fans didn't like Return of the Jedi because, Ewoks, I guess. But, I'm pretty certain Empire Strikes Back got No, that one, the last season we saw in Florida.
In
But the
Celebration, yeah.
1 and 3 I saw at Metro Toronto Convention Center, MTCC. For
Brock,
you,
my audio's way lower than yours. My audio's way lower than yours.
okay,
We can't do it. I can't do anything about it. Neither can you. So I'm just gonna talk like this.
okay. Is someone saying that there's no
you
going
should.
audio?
Yeah, I got it. I got a text. Move your mic away from your mouth. This is the James show. This is the James show. We're gonna talk about what I want to talk about.
Oh, I hear it now.
Buy
Yeah,
them
yeah.
buy them on my wife's Etsy page. There's a candle.
Oh my god.
She doesn't have a page.
Limelight.
Whoa, that smells really good. Actually, I'm not gonna. That's, by the way, so she makes these candles. She doesn't have a page yet, so I'm not actually promoting it. But she makes these candles, Brock. But the first time you burn them, you're supposed to burn them for 3 hours. So I had this going for 3, but it smells amazing. Oh my god, it smells like Christmas joy. It's really good.
just hashtag Rebel Scum podcast to Limelight to 6789 to get your first 25% off Limelight candles made in Canada with love.
Actually,
what were we even talking about?
I don't know. We're going to Limelight. Can I just point this out? Remember when I got this thing? Do you remember this? Remember this Boba Fett helmet that I got? Or the
Yeah.
Boba Fett? I got this at the Disney store. It was like $5. And I was like, man. Now I'm like, everything Boba Fett I own is my favorite. I'm just because this was the day, Brock, that they released the Elite Series prototype, the all white one. Mm-hmm. And Square One was sold out of it. So I called my dad, who lives downtown Toronto, and I said, hey, can you go to the Disney store at the Eden Center and get me the prototype Boba Fett? And he did, and I have it. I have 3 Elite Series Boba Fetts in a die-cast slate.
Oh, yeah.
But I ended up buying this that day, though, for $5. It was, and this is, and you actually were like, oh, that's wicked. And I was like, yeah, whatever, it's Boba Fett. And now I'm like, Boba Fett's my favorite, so I'm glad.
Speaking of Boba Fett, this is something I thought of earlier. I didn't think of it. I heard it and thought this might be interesting to talk about. I listened to Kevin Smith's podcast, Fat Man Beyond, which was about Batman, but basically it's turned into a pop culture podcast. And they do it live at the Scum and Villainy Cantina that our very own Darth Ward was at and talked to the owner of. They were talking about Book of Boba Fett, just like the finale, and like the owner, JC, who Darth Ward also met, the owner of the cantina, has this theory that like even though it's maybe bogus, but I think down the road to explain why like he thinks the story of Boba Fett went, he thinks that it's not going to be Din Djarin that's going to become the ruler of Mandalore. It's Boba Fett. Because have you heard about this?
Well, I actually thought the same thing.
Oh, okay. Like, because they keep talking about like someone's got to rule it, and they keep bringing up this mythosaur thing, right? Like they've referenced it twice now, and it's sort of like, oh, something's coming, right? Which is also, if I'm right or wrong, I can never remember. Boba Fett's sigil is the mythosaur, right? That's the mythosaur.
Yep.
So this guy's explained it way better, but that kind of is interesting to me that at the end of the day, it's going to be Boba Fett that reunites the Mandalore or rules Mandalore. What do you think about that?
Well, like I said, I thought the same thing, and what I think I mentioned this on a show a little while ago. I talked to Rob about it for sure, because my feeling was this: when the Book of Boba Fett first started, what is the point of this show?
Mm-hmm.
And it ended up being liberating Tatooine, but it was liberating Tatooine, but it was showing the character of Boba Fett. And we talked about this, and what people don't like about Boba Fett is what makes Boba Fett, to me, more interesting. He was a badass bounty hunter. He got killed. He's reborn as Gandalf the Grey. But what does he do? He learns, and he becomes this ruler, and he learns how to appreciate the land around him and how to lead his people. Like we saw, Brock, the Mandalorian might... Look, and I don't know what they're going to do. The Mandalorian it could also be Grogu that they're leading to want to lead Mandalore, but whatever. The thing is wherever they're going with it, the Mandalorian joined Boba Fett. Boba Fett didn't join the Mandalorian. The Mandalorian joined Boba. And why did the Mandalorian join Boba Fett? Because of the loyalty that he showed in season 2 of the Mandalorian. They're showing Boba Fett become this incredible leader. And so that's why I was thinking this is a very, very valid plausibility. I don't know if that's where they're going to go with it because like Grogu, to me, Grogu seems that way, but it's not going to, I don't think it's going to be Din. I think when we watched The Mandalorian, we thought it was going to be Din, but why do you tell the book of Boba Fett? For me, we said this last week, it's the legend of this guy who gathered everybody together, made everybody unified, and they liberated Tatooine, and they took it out. This is what Anakin talked about in The Phantom Menace. They did this. He did this. And then at the end, what pissed everybody off was when he said, this isn't the life for me. And what he's referring to is like the gangster lives for him. He's not from Tatooine. He's got to move on. But we're seeing the beginnings of this true leader who was a badass before, and he's a bad. Look, Boba, they didn't demasculinize as people said Boba Fett. He was that last episode. He was super badass. He rode a Rancor. He had a knee missile, a knee rocket missile. Like he was awesome. I don't care what anybody says. He was awesome. And so I don't know. When I haven't heard that podcast, the Fat Man Beyond, but I'm on the same page there. And I don't, like I said, the only X factor is Grogu. And I know that's funny, but also Grogu's 50 years old. So you give him time, he'll get older. He has Jedi reflexes, so he could probably wield that Darksaber a lot better than Din or Boba Fett could. But I just feel like the show we got, there's a reason for that show. And the reason right now was just for fun. It's a side story. But I think in the grand scheme of things, he is going to rule Mandalore. And what's going to happen is the sequel trilogy is going to take place to my right. And these Disney Plus Favreau Filoni verse is going to take place to my left. And they're going to live side by side, but they're not. But obviously, they're going to coexist, but they're very different from each other. And Mandalore has always been very different from the fight that's going on. So I think that's where we're going right there. Did that answer the question?
I think that makes a lot of sense because, and this. We don't really want to see that. We don't want our main character to lose. Oh, we lost Brock. What is that? Can you hear me?
Yeah, Brock, you're gone. I can't hear you. I just sent a message in the chat saying if that was just me. So we lost you again. So I think what Brock is saying, I heard you say something about Bo-Katan. I heard Bo-Katan. I think you're back. You're back?
Check.
Yeah, you're back. Bo-Katan, go.
Yeah, so it's just like at the end of season 2, it's like Mando versus Bo-Katan for possible ruling Mando, the Mandalorians. Like, I can't see that anybody wanting to do that at all, right? And it's like, who's the villain? But like handing it to Boba Fett in some way, I don't know how they get there, but it can't hurt. And the fact that we are delivered the idea of you can become a you can be proven worthy in the eyes of Mandalorians if you go into the under the cave pools of Mandalore. In the Book of Boba Fett series, like I think that's vital. Maybe we're pulling at loose threads here, but like I think that would make sense. It would make more sense to make Boba Fett the leader of the Mandalorians because I don't think Din wants that. He wants
this is gonna. So they've said that there's gonna be 4 seasons of The Mandalorian. Whether they stick to that or not, we don't know, obviously. But the only way to become a true leader is to win the Darksaber in battle. So is Din Djarin's ending being killed by Boba Fett, not because like almost like a sacrifice though. Almost like Din Djarin's last deed, and I don't want to disappoint fans, but his last deed is to sacrifice himself for the betterment of the Mandalorian people. And Boba Fett strikes him down and becomes leader of Mandalore. Maybe I don't even know if you have to kill somebody to become leader of Mandalore. I don't know if that's, but you have to win anyway. So is that how it's going to go? Hi, Vermont Mike.
I mean, he doesn't kill Moff Gideon, so I guess you don't have to. You just have to win it in battle. So I like that idea. I like it. I am like, okay, and then I don't know, like it might people might say it's like that's a cop out to be like we did this story that kind of feels unfinished, but I don't know. It's like I liked Book of Boba Fett. It was fun. It was just, it's like just the that deviation to Mando is like, whoa, that's a little confusing. But whatever. I think it's a great move. So
it's confusing, but it's also it makes sense because Book of Boba Fett is clearly an add-on to the Mandalorian season 2, and then we go meet Mando, and through Mando we meet Grogu, who are vital to the liberating of Tatooine, right? So it all plays out, and I understand people being jarred by it, but also it's Star Wars and it's fun, so maybe we should just like not complain about that.
Disney points out a good point here. Moff Gideon didn't kill Bo-Katan either. I'm like, do we know how he gets it?
But he doesn't rule Mandalore though, right? He just kind of has the dark saber. That's but that I'm just saying he has the dark saber. He doesn't kill Bo-Katan. He has a dark saber. Bo-Katan didn't lead Mandalore because she didn't win that the way she's supposed to. Also, the other thing we're forgetting though, Brock, though, is Boba Fett could rule Mandalore, so could Mando, and so could Grogu, whatever. But maybe that all changes. Maybe the way to rule Mandalore changes, and to get the dark saber does change, because I saw this thing recently where Jon Favreau said that the whole helmet thing for Din Djarin is going to be very like complex going forward. Like whether or not he's going to wear that is going to be very complex. And bye, Pauline. Yeah, go Raptors, go. We're big here at the in the 6. We love the 6 here. Anyway, but so there's it's just like they might take all that and they might flip it. It could be flipped. There might be a new way to go about it. I don't know. I will say, I know there was the people that didn't like the Book of Boba Fett, and I've talked to a few people who aren't massive Star Wars fans about it, and we talked about how I want to see what my sister thinks of Cad Bane and all that stuff. And she watched the finale. They watched it like the Friday, and she ended up watching the finale the day of because it's the finale. You got to watch it. And she loved it. She never questioned who Cad Bane was. She didn't. It wasn't like, oh, he died too fast. It was kind of like, in her mindset as a noob to Cad Bane, she totally like all in. Same with her fiance. Like they were just like, yeah, no, that was what their character, to them it made sense for the character. Like I think they saw that coming almost. Whereas you and we see Cad Bane from a different lens.
Yeah.
And I think they both really, really liked this show. And I had no influence on them at all. I didn't even know they watched it until the second last episode, to be honest. And they really liked the show. And I just think it was a nice aside from everything. I don't know. For me, Brock, it was refreshing almost. I don't know what it was. It was like a simple. I feel the same way kind of about Peacemaker, where I'm like, these are just two simple shows with like this like one little narrative thread that they're dealing with, and it's not. And I don't have to worry about all these things crashing together. It's like, this is what it is. So be it.
I think you're right though when you called Boba Fett like Gandalf the Grey, where like he dies and comes back and like saves the day. It's kind of true. It's like him liberating Tatooine is like sort of like, okay, this is him possibly moving up to like saving the Mandalorians. Like, so season 2 of Book of Boba Fett, maybe he's on another planet. I don't know. Like I don't know how exactly it's gonna work. So it's like, but I'm like, I heard that theory and I was like, yeah, that kind of makes sense to me. I mean, will every viewer like it? I don't think so, but like, I don't know. This is uncharted waters, right? Because like up until 3 years ago, we didn't have Star Wars TV shows at all. Well, I guess cartoons, but you know what I mean. Like Disney Plus hasn't been around that long, so
No, and I people, not everyone is going to love it, but I said this to our friend Sheldon, who's a massive Star Wars fan. Did not like the directing of the final episode, by the way. It was very thrown off by Robert Rodriguez directing. I just, what I think is Favreau and Filoni, the way they're working together with these directors that they always have, right? The way that they're working, it's almost like George Lucas was a jewel in the Nile. Like he was like Aladdin, right? Like he's like the diamond in the rough. That's George Lucas. He was the diamond.
Like, what?
That's the movie with anyway. But he was like the diamond in the jewel in the Nile. Look, I really want to watch some Michael Douglas movies.
Yeah.
He's like a diamond in the rough. Like there's one George Lucas, but it's almost like Favreau and Filoni combined are not maybe exactly Lucas, but they're a version of that, right? Like combined though, it takes two of them to be one. You're there, you're still there. Okay. So it takes two of them to be George Lucas, and I just think that when Star Wars is made, it's in with those two. I'm gonna say those two. It's in the right hands. That's the way I see it. I'm like I very much believe so. I want to believe Kenobi. That's Deborah Chow, who again we talked about this a few weeks ago, was a part of the Favreau Filoni. So she is like she could be the Filoni to the Lucas, right? Like to their Lucas is what she could be like, and that's how we could progress like that. And over time, it'll obviously evolve. But for me, that. Sorry, Mr. Rich just said Danny DeVito. But this is what I mean, though, is like when I see Star Wars, I feel like it's in good hands because I think they have a very, very good grasp on it, and they believe in it, and and above all, Brock, whether you like it or not, they absolutely love the franchise. They love the property of Star Wars. They love everything that goes in it. And I think that and even when you watch Boba Fett, you can love, hate, whatever you want, but you can tell watching that people involved love the product that you're getting. And they and look, and again, argue all you want, but when you watch that episode, The Return of the Mandalorian, every aspect of Star Wars was thrown into that episode. This was made by people who love the property.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Can you hear me?
Yes, you're good.
Okay, perfect.
When I can't hear you, I'll let you know.
Because I'm questioning anytime. No, I think you're right. Like it's like these people aren't screwing around. They want to make the best Star Wars that they think they can, and I think they're pulling off quite a success. Yeah, I mean, I feel like Obi-Wan will be a true test of if that's going to be across the board. Sorry, I didn't want to sneeze into the microphone.
The one time your mic's on.
No. I muted it real quick. But yeah, I like Deborah Chow, we know, makes good episodes of Mandalorian, so I can't see why. It's just a matter of like, will her creative vibe for that show change anything? I don't know. I'm looking forward to watching it. Ooh. When's it coming out? May
25th.
Thank you.
The 45th anniversary of A New Hope is when it is. When it's here's the thing though, is that a lot of people, like I just talked about how Sheldon didn't like the directing of Robert Rodriguez in the finale, but I know what he's talking about because, well, he explained to me. But I see people complaining about Rodriguez's directing, and when they talk about the directing, it's not always the directing they're talking about. It is the story they're talking about, which isn't funny. That is Favreau. There's a showrunner, and I don't know who the showrunner is for Kenobi. Deborah Chow's, like, Deborah Chow is going to do what she is hired to do, and she's going to do it well.
Right. Oh, okay, gotcha.
But if you don't like it, if you don't like the story or the structure of it, that's not Deborah Chow, unless that ended up being her job. But if she's just directing it, that's not how it is. TV and film, the
Right.
directing of it works very
You're right.
very differently, right? Whereas film, it's like this is
Mm.
my movie, you take it all in. Whereas TV, Favreau, Filoni, and Rodriguez were the big cheese on the Book of Boba Fett. So whatever you
Mhm.
liked, whatever you didn't like about the Book of Boba Fett was always on those three. And there's always like a very big. There was a misconception about that throughout the Book of Boba Fett, because look, and I love the second episode, and I love Bryce Dallas Howard's episode of the Book of Boba Fett, and everyone's like, "Oh, give her a movie," and I agree. I actually look, she's done 3 episodes now, or did she do 2? She's done 3 or 4 episodes of these episodic shows for Star Wars, right? Her first one was okay. Let's be honest. It wasn't the greatest. She did okay. But again, was that her or was that the material? And so she's very competent as a director, but TV and film are very different. So you have the showrunner. So Deborah Chow, though, I'm very excited because she's very competent. And I hope she has a little bit more say in what she's doing because, again, she worked for Favreau and Filoni, but also there's rumors that Filoni wrote some of these Obi-Wan Kenobi episodes as well. Yeah. Well, who knows? Who knows? You want to go to the odds?
Let's do it. Never.
Ability of successfully navigating an asteroid field is approximately 3,720 to 1.
Never tell me the odds.
Never tell me. Why was there a quick frame of Quill right there? That's crazy.
Because when I exported, I accidentally exported one frame of our old banner. I should just export the whole thing. Quill, by the way, one of my all-time favorite Star Wars characters is Quill. He goes along with like Watto and characters, Sebulba, characters who didn't make it out very far, but have a special place in my heart.
Never tell me the odds. Brought to you by Patreon. Patreon.com/Rebel Scum Podcast. We make a podcast. If you like it, why don't you come and support us?
So let's do the.
Okay. Should I continue?
Dude, my internet just died, so I don't know where we are right now. You were frozen, and I was like, "Well, you're frozen." And now
Rebel Scum. Patreon.com/Rebel Scum Podcast, and check out what we have. If you decide to help us out, there's different tiers, and you can contribute whatever you like, and we greatly appreciate that. So we will make your life as much as Star Wars-rific as we can if you help us out. And the people that wonderful people that you think by now I would have memorized their names, but I have not. But here we go. I without looking at my list, I'll go Heidi Feder, executive producer. Boom. No looking. Barry Brophy, Dennis Allen, Randy Kenobi, Mary Kristen Aton, Jeff Wilson, Phil Stanifor, Scott D, Josh Price, Matt W.
Rez! Hi, Rez. He's in the chat. Frank
Rez.
Perkins, Neil Lowry, D. Raven, Spencer, Cosmic Girl 02, Gleek, Playing One, Disney Desi, Charlotte, Kayla Davis, Dana Nerds, and the girls with sabers, who are very excited, Brock, because Lord of the Rings, the Ring of Power, is on its way. Are you excited for the Lord of the Rings TV show?
Yeah, I was like almost completely ignoring anything about it. Then I watched the trailer during Super Bowl, and I'm like, "Whoa, that looks sick!" So it's exciting.
It looks so good. Even my father-in-law was over watching Super Bowl, and he was like, "When does that come out? What is that? A movie or a show?" I was like, "It's a show." He's very excited. He's going to be renewing his Prime membership. Not that he wouldn't, because he orders off of Amazon Prime every other day because we live in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, it looks great. It looks great. But again, actually, I learned one thing on Twitter this week, Brock, is that Lord of the Rings fans are actually far worse than Star Wars fans.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, really? Like, can we just enjoy Lord? It looked really good. I thought it looked really good. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm 40. I am 40 years old and I like what I like and I don't like what I don't like.
This
and
is
I bought
40.
Super Mario Brother Christmas wrapping paper for Christmas from the dollar store. This is what I wrap my wife's presents in. Never tell me the odds. Will Watto be in Obi-Wan Kenobi? Are we finally going to frickin' see Watto again? Because I'm getting really pissed off, Brock. He did not show up in Book of Boba Fett, and I'm really getting pissed off.
Yeah. I mean, put him in there. And have Ahsoka show up. And it's like, I'm a friend of the family. And he's like, I'm a friend of the family. That was a really terrible Watto. I am going to go 35%.
Yeah, I'm going to go 21%. I think Watto's done. I don't think they're ever going to get back to Watto. Unfortunately. I mean, I love Watto. You know how I feel about Watto.
Yeah.
Huge Watto fan.
I'm a Todarian.
My chicks don't work on me. We get the first Kenobi trailer on May 4th, Brock. Like, I mean, look, everyone was like, well, he was in the Super Bowl. They never said it was going to be in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they never actually
was. Secondly, Disney Plus right now, Brock, is pushing Moon Knight. Moon Knight is not a known property. It's not WandaVision. It's not WandaVision. It's not Falcon Winter Soldier. It's not Loki. They're pushing it. They want you to watch Moon Knight. And I think that makes complete sense. So why would you throw people off with Moon Knight and then Obi-Wan Kenobi? You get people to watch Moon Knight. Yeah. That's why I don't think we got a trailer on Super Bowl. And look, Moon Knight, I don't know if I'm like all in on Moon Knight, but I am more interested in Moon Knight than I was after the first trailer based on the Super Bowl trailer. Doctor Strange, on the other hand, Brock. Hello. Sam Raimi. It's just Sam Raimi. So we know one thing's for sure. Willem Dafoe showing up and Bruce Campbell will make an appearance. Bruce Campbell's appearance is what I'm looking forward to the most. But anyway, we're going to get is the first Obi-Wan Kenobi trailer, the first, Brock, going to debut on May 4th. Will we not see anything until May 4th?
I'm going to go 80% on this because that is pretty close to the premiere, though. But like, we know it's coming out the 25th. Like, we know it's coming out. So it's like, just wait. What's the problem? What's the problem?
This is my feeling on it. I don't know. Like, are they going to get new subscribers from a trailer for Obi-Wan Kenobi? Or are the subscribers they have already people that know about Obi-Wan Kenobi? Do you know what I mean? I'm going to go full Brock on it. They might draw something a little bit sooner. I think if Moon Knight is successful, we might get something sooner than later. But I just think I'm with Rez on this one. I think Rez is talking about what we're talking about. Is like, I can wait for this trailer. I'm going to watch whether or not I get a trailer. I'm watching this show, so I really don't care. Heidi's just saying that the Book of Boba Fett didn't debut until November 1st for December 29th premiere. So that's 2 months. Let's call it 2 months. So that would give us what? March. So March. But we might be getting it. We might, but I just think Obi-Wan Kenobi is going to sell. People who are excited for it are already excited for it. And you could probably hold off on a trailer because the thing is, if you say, hey, this show's coming out May 25th and you release that on May 24th, maybe I don't have Disney Plus and maybe I say, okay, well, I'll get it this month. Like, that's how it works, right? It's not a movie. So I'm going to go full Brock on it, though. And again, if I don't get a trailer, I'm very, very happy about that. By the way, we didn't talk about what we were supposed to talk about at all. So the name and the thumbnail for this doesn't make any sense, and I really don't care. And our final on today, the Book of Boba Fett. Are we going to get the Book of Boba Fett Season 2, Brock? Will Season 2 of the Book of Boba Fett be a thing?
Oh, 100%. No P.
Okay, let's talk about this briefly, Brock, because this is something to talk about. The finale of the Book of Boba Fett saw a 36% rise in viewership from Mando Season 2 finale. That's kind of, and you can argue more subscribers, and I think that's factual. And I think Loki helped that a lot. I think the Loki show actually brought a lot of people in. I think because
Mhm.
Loki was the first one on a Wednesday. That's what made them switch to Wednesdays. But that people, I know, like as much as Twitter wants you not to know this, but I think people genuinely enjoyed the book of Boba Fett. I think this show was something people actually really enjoyed and they stuck around for. And there might have been hiccups along the way that they didn't like, but they knew that they knew that there was a goal for the show,
Yeah.
that there was a purpose and what was going to be the finality of the show. And they wanted to stick around and they got that. And I
Mhm.
think, and so that's my opinion on it. But what did you make of the 36% rise in viewership?
I don't know. I don't know what to say. I was like, yeah, that's awesome. It was like the only thing I could find for news. Well, I found that and then couldn't finish finding news, so we don't have news today. That was the news. Here's what I think about it in general. It's like people are down to stream. Netflix has made this a world where we're like, we gotta stream. We gotta have Netflix. We gotta stream. So like, and because people have this ability to just watch one anywhere they want, because you can watch Netflix on your TV, your computer, your phone, anywhere. As long as you can sign in and there's Wi-Fi, you can watch anywhere. And because you're paying a certain amount, like I think people are ingesting content way more and are very open to trying new things, right? Like Squid Game. Like nobody was talking about that show before it premiered. There was no hype for it. Maybe there was in Korea. Yeah, Korean. And I don't know, like, but like that's the power of Netflix. Like, if you put it on that main page,
Yes.
people will watch. People will watch.
It's funny because I was talking to Aaron about that the other day, where I she was like, she put something on. I was like, oh, I was listening to TSN radio, which is sports radio, just so everybody knows that's sports radio. And they were talking about what's that? You probably know this, Brock. It's Tinder Binder. What's the Tinder?
Tinder
show.
Swindler. Tinder Swindler. Yeah.
They were talking about that, and then Aaron put it on. I'm like, oh my god, they were talking about this on Sports Talk Radio this morning. And I was and she was watching it, and then something else was there, and I was like, and I just kind of was like, if Netflix throws something on the main page, they've got you.
Yeah.
Like it's really like wild to me that they have like the power that main Netflix. I don't think Disney's main page has that, but Netflix's main page. Like when because there was something else and it was like, oh, it's number 1 in Canada. I'm like, I really don't care. But like that, but I'm a stubborn old man. We've established this. And I like 3 things. Jaws.
Yeah.
But but like that, you're right though. When they put something on there, that's the thing. And like Squid Game, I haven't seen Squid Game. I still don't know what Aaron's been watching it sometimes, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I just walk away. But like, how did that become a thing? Because Netflix is their own marketing. Netflix is it's starting to cost too much, to be honest, but it's phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot more specifically to Squid Game to make it popular, but my whole point was, that main page, maybe the number 1 in your country tricks you, maybe it doesn't. I don't know, but it's the first thing you're gonna see, and like Netflix, the second you're on a page and you wait like 5 seconds, a trailer or a scene starts playing. Disney Plus is kind of adopting that as well. I find I'm always engaged by that main page. It's like showing the hot new releases. Like, it's pretty wild. Like, I think I said this before, like on a Wednesday, you could see the first thing being Book of Boba Fett. And then the next thing is Pam and Tommy. And then the next is, I don't know what. So it's like, it's doing the same, like the same effect that you can call it what it is. It's copying Netflix. Why not? If it works, but every business is copying. So, but like we're too laser focused on Star Wars and Marvel. Like, you can't forget one of the biggest things, and it wasn't specifically Disney Plus exclusive, but it did come out at the same time. Encanto. Like, Encanto is huge. Encanto is massively huge in Canada, specifically on Disney Plus, because depending on who you were, you probably couldn't go to the theaters when it was in theaters. But that's huge. So it's like, one, Disney Plus is firing in all cylinders. It's grabbing all the audience, but then it's also, I've been engaged by it immediately. So it's like, if you can grab them one way, then if you're like, I liked Encanto and that's in the main page there, I'm like, what's on next? Oh, Book of Boba Fett. I know what Boba Fett is, or like, I remember Mandalorian, so I'll watch this too. I don't know how true that is, but that's how I see the effect. This is like, yeah, like, I don't have regular television, so I don't really see regular commercials. You know what I mean? I'll see
That's my
the trailers.
job.
Yeah. No, I do not. But like, and granted, like, that's not really revolutionary to say. Anyways, we're seeing most of our content on our phones through ads on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. Like, there is no need for commercials, but like, there is points. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, you find new ways to grab you. Like, going back to Squid Game, it's like, big reason that became huge because it became a meme, and people are like, on Instagram are like, and on all social media is like, what is this thing? And like, I had like 3 conversations with people about Squid Games before I actually watched it. So like, it's hard to pin down why people are watching where they are, but I do think like, people are they're paying $12 a month for it. We're in a pandemic where we don't really want to go places, or we're trying to stay inside. We're ingesting content at like an all-time high. So
I one thing though, that Disney doesn't do that Netflix does, that we talked about this like 2 seconds ago, it's that ranking in Canada or ranking in America. Or
yeah, sure.
whatever. That to me is when for whatever reason, when something is like, oh, this is number one, people are liking this, people gravitate to that. And they're like, well, people are watching this, I've got to watch it.
Yeah.
And I think Disney Plus, I think they're going to adopt that, and I think that would be smart because that's what you want. Every time I watch Boba Fett, they would always just recommend the Under the Helmet documentary. And I'm like, well,
yeah, exactly.
Recommend something else. Yeah, well, recommend something else, because you know what? If they would have there's a few times, Brock, on the treadmill when I'm watching that show, if they would have recommended like The Mandalorian, I might have like, thinking back to it, I might have clicked on that. I might have clicked on something. But they didn't, so I haven't, and whatever. That is what it is. My odd though for Book of Boba Fett season 2, I actually have no idea. I've got to be honest with you. I don't know if they do a season 2 of Book of Boba Fett. I kind of feel like it's a one and done. I'm happy if it's a one and done. I'm also happy if they keep going. But I just think the title Book of Boba Fett is so finite. Like, this is it. This was it. So I'm gonna go. Yeah, like this was the book. This was the Legend of Boba Fett. At the same time, though, if he becomes a ruler of Mandalore, do you tell that story in The Mandalorian, or do you tell that in Boba Fett? So I'm gonna go like another full Brock. I'm gonna go cheap on this one and go.
Wow.
And Mr. Rez is going 85% on season 2.
Yeah.
I think Mr. Rez liked Book of Boba Fett, and he's on Twitter, where they do not like Book of Boba Fett. You know what I love about Twitter? When I watch a movie, I'm like, man, that was really good. Then I go on Twitter, and every single freaking person on there is like, that was the worst thing I've ever seen. And I'm like, how am I? Honestly, Brock, I gotta be honest with you. I love Spider-Man Far From Home. The second one with Mysterio. I love that movie. I'm like, this is a lot of fun. I think I'm one of 3. Like, people, that seems to be like the most hated Spider-Man movie ever. And I'm like, did I watch a different movie? But anyway,
I like all the Tom Hollands.
I like every Spider-Man movie. We should also get that out of the way. By the way, for my anniversary, Brock, Aaron got me the Amazing Spider-Man 10th anniversary soundtrack vinyl.
Cool.
It comes out at the end of the month, so it's pre-order, but I cannot wait to put some James Horner, rest in peace, on my record player, sit here and go like this. Anyway, I love it. But before we get to our top 5, Brock, we just have to be, for our title's sake, do you think there's a chance of Black Chrysanthemum? Jimmy Smits apparently is in Obi-Wan Kenobi. Black Chrysanthemum, Jimmy Smits, Qui-Gon Jinn. What do you think of the odds of them showing up? Do you think they're going to show up in the book of Boba Fett? In the book of Obi-Wan Kenobi? Will they be in the book of? Are they going to be in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show?
Oh man, I hope so. I really, really hope so. That'd be awesome. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
No, that'd be awesome. Are they going to be in it? Yes. Or do you why not?
No ones. This isn't Never Done
Yeah,
Nuts. This is,
Just
this
like
is some, do you know what this is, Brock? Do you know what this is?
top 5.
Oh, on.
Club wants their investment back too.
I never made a deal with Conja Club.
It's
Tell that to
Conja
Conja
Club.
Now let's a Cancer Club.
Wait.
Tell that to Conja Club.
Tell that to Conja Club. Woo! That's what this segment is, Brock. I miss Conja Club. What a great moment.
Yeah.
Force Awakens that was.
Like, remember how tickled by that scene where, like, oh, are we going to see more of that? Like, no. The Guavian death cult or club or gang or whatever they are.
This is what I don't get. You have Disney Plus. You have the place to throw this crap at our face, and you're not. Like, and they're not. They're like, what are we gonna do? There's a rumor, Brock, that they are going to do a movie about reviving the Jedi Order that takes place after the sequel trilogy. And apparently they're casting for a show that takes place after the sequel trilogy, and they're casting, like, if they're calling it Stranger Things in Space, there's like an 11-year-old boy, a 12-year-old boy. This is what they're doing. I don't know. Brock, this is just things that are on the interwebs right now. Okay? but the sources that are coming through with these they've been right in the past, so that's where.
Oh, is it Lumberjack John or whatever?
It's not. No, we don't talk about that.
We don't talk about. We don't talk about making Star Wars.
We don't talk about that, but no, we don't, because that guy's a dirtbag. But but yeah, no, the others, but people like this. I'm just saying. I don't. When it happens, it happens.
Yeah,
if it happens, it happens. But I'm just saying, like, these are the rumors, and they are from sources who have been
inaccurate.
Right in the exactly. So that's just how it is. But anyway, let's just talk a little bit about Obi-Wan before we go to top 5. We're running late on this show. I know we're like, let's make this one a short show.
Yeah.
Bail Organa, Black Chrysanthemum, Inquisitor, and Qui-Gon. What do you got? Think they're coming?
Inquisitor for sure, I think. Mike Zero.
I love
Jimmy
that you still make
Smits.
a video.
Jimmy Smits, I'm gonna say yes, because it's like, why not? You have him. I'm sure I know he was just in what's that movie? In the Heights, and he more or less looks the same, I guess. He's a little bit older or what have you. But what was the other one? Black Chrysanthemum. I would love that. I think we definitely will see him. Freaking Google Assistant. I definitely see him popping.
Like, no,
I don't know.
No.
It went off, and I'm like, please don't talk. So all 4, I don't know. I think sorry, it was 4 people you said, right? So Qui-Gon.
Yeah, Qui-Gon.
I want to say yes, but like we won't know, and here comes Gatsby. We won't know till it actually happens. So do I want all 4? Absolutely. Yes, 1,000 times yes.
I saw an article today. I can't remember the website I saw it on, so I apologize. It was either Screen Rant or Comic Book News or something, Binge Now, or Brock's having dog problems. It's one of those things, and it said something about because everybody hates Tatooine for some reason. Like, first of all, get over yourselves. Tatooine is like 90% Star Wars, so just get over yourselves. That's like saying, I don't like it when Friends takes place in New York. It is what it is.
That's the 7th friend.
The one thing with... But what they were saying was Bail Organa gets them off of Tatooine and onto Alderaan and stuff like that. And apparently Bail's wife is going to be there, and maybe that's how we get to see a young Leia and stuff like that. And Obi-Wan, and early on, Obi-Wan checks in on those characters, and I think that's great, because obviously Rogue One alludes to the fact that Bail has a Jedi friend. So I think it makes complete sense that Bail Organa would be in this show. And you know me, I'm all for Jimmy Smits. If you guys go back 4 or 5 years, 5 years, I guess, to our Rogue One reaction with Jimmy Smits, you know I'm all in on Jimmy Smits. Phil Lamar does his voice fantastically on the animated stuff.
Yeah.
I'm all in. Bail Organa, give me more of that. Black Santa again. I don't think we will get him, but I'm all in on that. Like, why not?
Yeah.
Like, you have this character, terrible looking Black Series figure coming out, but you have this character. Use this character, man. Just you.
Yeah.
And everyone likes to complain like the universe is small. And again, I just say screw you, because this is Star Wars, and this is what I love about Star Wars is the characters that I know, and you use those characters that I know to give me new characters that I am then going to get to know. So you give me Black Santa, I love that. Qui-Gon, absolutely, because Obi-Wan has to learn how to become a Force Ghost. I don't want to learn how to become a Force Ghost because I think less is more in that respect, but I do want to see him interact with Qui-Gon a little bit. Darth Vader is going to be awesome to see in this series, Brock. I can't wait for that big. Like, I was always against, and if you go back again 5 years to when we first started this podcast, I always said, you know, the Obi-Wan Anakin thing for me, like after Revenge of the Sith, I don't want them meeting anymore. But now I'm like, okay, give me that, because they can meet now, something can happen, and then in A New Hope, when he says I sense a presence I haven't felt since, and then he walks away, that since could be even more impactful than that moment in Revenge of the Sith, and we're gonna be getting that. That's what we're gonna get in the show. I can't wait. And an Inquisitor, if the rumors are true, I think the actor playing the Inquisitor is fantastic. He was on Homeland. He was great on Homeland. They wanted him for James Bond, I believe. I think it'd be a good James Bond, but I think as an Inquisitor, I can't wait. And we have, do you have anything to add here?
Oh, I don't even know what we're talking about anymore.
We're going to top five characters Kumail Nanjiani could be playing, because we haven't talked about him today, but Kumail Nanjiani is in this. He was also in Brock. Here's the thing. He's in the MCU. He is in Star Wars. He's in the MCU, and he is in the #1 shared universe of them all, the 90 Day Fiancé shared universe. He was on an episode of Pillow Talk last year. I haven't seen him on an episode of Pillow Talk. You've got to watch it. Yeah, and I'm not joking. Aaron and I watched that show. Well, she watched it live, sometimes sit in, and he was on it, and it was so good. 90 Day Fiancé Pillow Talk. That is next week's podcast. Top 5 players Kumail Nanjiani could be playing in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. We know he's there. I'm not going to. Here's the thing, Brock. I'm not putting Kidster on my list. I think people have said Kidster all they want. FYI, if Kidster ended up being Boba Fett, that would have made the book of Boba Fett probably even better. But I'm going to go with Princess Leia's babysitter as number 5. Babysitting Princess Leia.
Tatooine is the center of the galaxy. My number 5. What actually, when you sent me this and I thought about it, I'm like, wait, he is in Star Wars already. He's like an alien. I'm like, no, that's Men in Black International or whatever the actual title is. So my number 5 is he's gonna voice a quirky alien. Boom.
He said he's playing a new version of a character that we know, and I'm gonna go with a Force sensitive bounty hunter.
What?
A bounty hunter who is one with the Force.
Okay, gotcha. Just because you dropped in that factoid about like a character that we already know, I was like, wait, but that's not a character.
Okay, Boba Fett with skills. Zam Wessel. He's gonna play Zam
Wessel. Yeah, no, I didn't know about that little factoid. So my next one was a sassy Imperial person.
Actually, my number 3 is also an Imperial officer. Something new about him. I don't know what it is, but there's something new with an Imperial officer.
3 is a bartender in Tatooine, maybe Tashi Station, if Tashi Station has a bar. Oh, actually, yeah. Didn't we see that in this season of Boba Fett? So, boom.
Yeah, and Heidi brought up the characters that were in the lead scenes from A New Hope. My number 2, Brock, this one is going to ripple some feathers. Something is going to happen with feathers when I say this, because I'm about to break the internet. So all 8 people paying attention, and Disney does it is not Hondo Anaka, but damn it, I wish it was.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, great idea. For my number 2, Brock, are you ready? he is not just in Obi-Wan. He will be in Ahsoka as well, and possibly Mandalorian Season 4. He will be playing Grand Admiral Thrawn. Who did you think I was going with?
I thought you were going to say Ezra.
No, it's going to be the guy that played Aladdin is playing Ezra.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Markham Ontario.
Yeah, Mina. Oh, what's his last name?
Manus.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He's a
my number 2 is going to be Obi-Wan's neighbor. That's like, hey man, what are you doing here? It's not Obi-Wan. No, and he's not Jawa. Like I think Obi-Wan doesn't go to his little hut in the Junland Waste immediately. He has an apartment, like a split level apartment in Mon Espa, and Kumail lives next door. He's like, hey, buddy.
This episode went really long. My number. I'm just laughing. My number 1, he is playing. I don't know the character's name yet because he hasn't been on screen, but he is playing a Gungan.
A Gungan. That voice, yeah, his voice could work with it. Not that he sounds like a Gungan, but like because they're so cartoony. Sebulba, very nice, very nice. Old Sebulba.
Old Sebulba. Annie. Wait, that's Watto. That's old Watto. Can you imagine old Watto though? Like, hey, Obi-Wan, is this the offspring of Annie? And then he dies.
My number 1, oh gosh, it's like I can't really think of like who could exist in the Obi-Wan universe that we've seen before that he could play. I don't know. He can be young Princess Leia. Boom, there we go. They make him crouch down and wear that.
They make him look younger. They make him look younger. Those are our top 5. Let us know your top 5 in the comments to the side, because this is a big important thing to know who he's going to be playing in the show. There's so many people in the show. Can't wait. O'Shea Jackson's also going to be in it, and he said that we do not know what we are expecting on this show. So I absolutely cannot wait. I think we're in for a hell of a time coming up. But anyway, this is our show, episode 242 of the Rebel Scum podcast. 242 of these things. Time flies when you're having fun. Brock, anything else you want to say tonight?
No. I feel like I thought up something to say, but no. Thank you for listening and just hanging out. That's all we're looking for. And thank you to all the people who support us, especially our moms.
Annie. Yeah, thank you all for watching. It's been a great time. Everybody have a good night. Thank you all in the chat for hanging out with us and giving us stuff to talk about, making this go even longer than we planned to, but it's always a lot of fun. Especially when I'm
Kathleen Kennedy was fired. Disney, the official 3rd host of the show.
She just breaking news. Kathleen Kennedy has been fired. Can you imagine if she ever gets fired? I don't even know what we'll do on this show. It's just like, Kathleen Kennedy was finally fired for real.
I felt a disturbance in the force, as if the entire internet trolls was immediately said, "We were right all along."
Who is everyone going to hate if they fire Kathleen Kennedy? Like all these anyway, I'm not going to say what I was going to say. I'm going to keep it to myself. All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching, especially you, Brock, because you were always scum.
Rebel scum.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.